Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make the best dinner rolls ever. I am famous for my dinner rolls. People write into me from all over the world saying how much they love these delicious rolls. They truly are the best ever, and today I'm going to show you how to make them once again and give you tips and tricks along the way. We're going to start making our dough by pouring 2 cups of milk into the bowl of a stand mixer. You want the milk to be slightly warm, so I just pop it in the microwave for about a minute. I recommend using either 2% or whole milk, but people have written into me and they've gotten away with 1%, skim milk, almond milk, soy milk. It all works. Next, add in 2 tablespoons of instant dry yeast, or you can use active dry yeast, and there's no reason to let this dissolve. Then add in a 1/4 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of salt. And don't worry, salt does not kill yeast. That's a common misconception. I've designed this recipe to be as easy as possible. You don't have to use a stand mixer. You can always mix this up by hand. Then I'm gonna crack in 2 large eggs. Make sure you don't get any shells in there. Then I'll slice in 6 tablespoons of softened salted butter, and it helps if you just scrape it against the little mixer beater thing, the dough hook, that's what it's called. And then we'll start adding in our flour. I use about 6 cups total of all-purpose flour, but you may need to adjust based on things like the weather, how much humidity is in the air, and even just how you measure your ingredients. So maybe start with 5 cups to get it going. You can always add more flour, but you can't take flour out of the dough once you've got it in there, so start out small. A lot of people ask if you can turn this into a wheat roll. The answer is yes. The roll will be a little bit more dense and not as light and fluffy. I recommend using half wheat and half white flour. Next, we're gonna get this mixing. Now in a stand mixer, we just let it mix with the dough hook. If you're gonna do this by hand, you'll stir it in a bowl until you can't stir anymore, and then knead it with your hands. Once the dough ball forms and it pulls away from the sides of the bowl and starts to look clean, you really don't need to knead any extra after that. You want the dough to be a nice, soft consistency, almost the consistency of Play-Doh. You can feel a soft roll in the dough. You definitely don't want it to be tough. The dough should be tacky, but not sticky enough that it sticks to your hands. You want your hands to remain clean. I'm gonna spray a bowl with some non-stick cooking spray and add my dough ball into that. And I like to turn it so that the outside of the dough ball gets covered in oil, and you may need to add a little bit more. And then cover this with a towel and let it rise. You want to let the dough rise until it's double in size, which will take somewhere between an hour and 90 minutes. Rising time always varies just a little bit. If you used active dry yeast instead of instant dry yeast, you'll need to add a little bit of extra time. And if your house is just too cold, the dough can have a hard time rising. So you want to make sure that it stays in a nice warm place that's not too hot. Then we're gonna turn the dough out onto a countertop and start shaping our rolls. This recipe makes 24 rolls. The trick to getting them all to be exactly the same size is to use a kitchen scale. So I weigh the entire batch of dough and then divide it by 24. So then today I'm looking for 2.4 ounces. So I pinch off a little bit of dough, place some back. I went over on that one until I get 2.4 ounces, and it's usually somewhere between 2.3 and 2.5. Then I form my hand into a little cupping shape, and putting the dough ball in the palm of your hand, roll it around on a clean countertop until you get a nice little dough ball, and then place it onto a lightly greased baking sheet. I'm gonna do 4 across and 6 down, and that'll make 24 rolls. Then we're gonna cover this with a towel again and let them rise for 1 hour before baking. After an hour of rising, we can go ahead and bake these in a 375-degree oven for 12 to 14 minutes. And of course, you can eat them right out of the pan if you'd like, or let them cool completely. These will stay good for about 72 hours. And boy, are they delicious. It's hard to stop eating. This is the best dinner roll ever. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and check out the rest of my videos where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. See you later.